If you're fat, is it necessarily because you're lazy? I'm going to argue not. Fat and lazy are a binomial pair, a pair of words that are so often put together that we use them really without thinking. Nice and easy, law and order, peace and quiet, gin and tonic. These are all binomial pairs. And in each one, you can see why those two words are paired. But I don't think fat and lazy should be together. I think for most people who are overweight, they're overweight not because they're lazy, but because they're busy. We're all busy. We're all busy spinning plates. We've got our families, parents, we've got our illnesses, we've got our jobs, our bosses, we've got our shopping to do, we've got houses to look after, we've got neighbours to worry about. We've got a lot going on, a lot of plates to spin. And when you see a fat person, you may think lazy, but I think actually what the issue is plate choice. And probably for most overweight people, especially most overweight people over a certain age, they will have attempted to do something about being overweight already, possibly several times. They may have even succeeded in the past. Lost weight, put it back on again, lost weight, put it back on again. And by now, maybe you're looking at someone who's just too busy and cannot find a way to fit in 2 more canes atop of which they must place 2 great big wobbly plates, do more exercise, eat less food. That's just too much for them to take on. So what you're looking at is not laziness. What you're looking at is plate choice. I think the thing is for these people that obviously it is important to exercise. It is important to lose weight for good health reasons. I think what's important for these people is to simplify the process of spinning those plates. Get those plates so they kind of spin themselves. If you can get yourself to that situation, then they're not that difficult to take on. The idea of spinning those 2 plates will not be that onerous. I do want to talk about lazy though, the word lazy. I think it's a highly pejorative word, but for good reason. I think we are sort of evolutionarily programmed to dislike laziness in others. It makes sense. For most of our evolutionary history, in our communities, in our tribes, if we see a lazy person, they're actually a liability. They're a liability for the whole tribe. The tribe is living hand to mouth at a subsistence level. And if someone's not pulling their weight, well, the rest of the tribe should let them know about it so they can mend their ways and not be that liability, not be that risk for the tribe. So when we see a lazy person here in the 21st century, we've still got that little thought process in our heads. We scowl at them. It's like, phew, God, lazy slob. Even though it actually doesn't matter now. We live in times of plenty. Calories are easy to come by. They're pretty cheap to get hold of. If you want to kill yourself by an excess of calories and an excess of inactivity, then in theory, it shouldn't affect us, the rest of the tribe. But it does affect that person. And I think a lot of these people, the laziness is the symptom. I think actually what you're looking at is a cycle of self-loathing. I think these are people who, as bolshy as they may be on the outside, when they look in the mirror, they hate themselves. And again, like the busy overweight people, these lazy, if I can use that hurtful word, these lazy overweight people who hate themselves, who are filled with self-loathing and a loss of purpose and a nihilism and a deep resentment, I think they also need the pathway to greater exercise and fewer calories. They need that pathway smoothing. They need it simplifying. Now, I have spent quite a bit of effort explaining how I have simplified weight loss. First of all, I wrote this book, Snack-a-Doodle-Don't, The Easy Way to Lose Weight and Stay Thin. And now I've started this YouTube channel, The Easy Way. My first 2 videos on that channel are the ones I want you to watch if you've not seen them already. They're instructional videos on the easy way to lose weight and stay thin. You don't need this book, just watch those 3 videos. It'll take an hour of your time, but it could be the best hour you've ever spent. Find out the easy way to lose weight and stay thin. I stumbled across it. I couldn't believe it worked so well. I sat down and worked out why it worked, wrote the book, and now I'm starting the YouTube channel. But what is the way of simplifying at a psychological level the need to do some exercise? If you're like me, you probably don't enjoy exercising very much. I'm 57, and when I go for a run, this old carcass really doesn't enjoy it. I hate the feeling of my heart pounding so hard it feels like it's going to burst out of my rib cage. I hate the feeling of expanding my lungs so much they feel they're going to burst. I hate the feeling of my muscles sort of having to move at this high pace. I feel it in my shoulders, my back, and my hips, and I don't enjoy the feeling of exercise, of vigorous exercise. I really don't. But I know I must do it. So I have found 3 what I call do-its that may help you at a psychological level simplify the proposition, the idea of doing regular exercise. And those do-its are this: do it first thing, do it by accident, or find a way of loving to do it. The first one's the one I favour. Do it first thing. I get up first thing in the morning, first thing I do, even before I get dressed, I'm still in my pyjamas, I put my trainers on. I have a running machine in my living room, which is an absolute godsend. Put it up to maximum incline so that I expend as much energy as quickly as possible. And I go for a 2-minute walk, and then I dial it up to 10K uphill, and I run for 1 minute and 50 seconds, which absolutely wipes me out. But I don't stop there. I dial it back to the walk for another 1 minute and 40 seconds. In total, it's 5.5 minutes of purgatory. I hate it. Every morning I wake up and I'm like, ugh, I've got to do that run. But I do it. By making it the first thing I do, I don't have time for the day to get in the way. I don't have time to think up an excuse. And so I do it. And the reason I do it is I know that my heart needs it. My circulatory system greatly benefits from it. My lungs greatly benefit from this daily exercise. Do it first thing. That's the first do it. The second one is do it by accident. You're going to have to get crafty for this one, because you're going to have to kind of fool yourself. What you're looking for is a desire to do something that's not exercise, but in doing that thing, exercise will get done. So you're not trying to do exercise, you're trying to do something that you think you'll enjoy. Volunteer for something, say running an outward bound course for disabled kids or something, or dog walking, or digging out a canal, renovating old canals. There's a lot of spade work in that, or rebuilding dry stone walls. Any of these sort of activities where you've got to get out there with other people, have fun, but you're going to be doing physical graft. That's a great way of accidentally doing exercise. Maybe get a new job. I mean, if you can get a job in a gym, you're made, you're golden. I mean, everybody is running around there, and you'll just have to join in and do all the exercises along with everybody else. Postal workers, always thin, aren't they? Well, at least the ones who do the deliveries. Become a postman or a postwoman and deliver letters. Lose that weight. Pound that asphalt and go around the estates delivering all those letters early in the morning. If you can get a new job wherein you have to do a lot of exercise, then that's good. That's going to work. Do it by accident. Whatever it takes, you may have to lie to yourself a little bit. I used to cycle to work. My last job was in a city, and the parking was exorbitant, and I couldn't justify parking my car in the city centre every day of the week. So I used to park outside the city for free. With my bike on the back of the car, I'd cycle in to work and then cycle back to the car again. And this was good, especially the ride back to the car. I'd do that really fast. And I raised my heart rate, and that was my exercise. I was doing my exercise by accident because I couldn't justify the high parking rates. Then one day, a colleague helpfully said, "You do know there's a cheap car park just down the road." And I went, whoa. I'm going to stop you there. I don't want to know about cheap car parks. I don't want an excuse to not ride in. That's the only way I keep fit. He looked a bit confused, but I knew that if I found out where this cheap car park was, that I would drive in and not ride in, and that would be bad for me. This is what I mean about do your exercise by accident. You've got to be canny. So that's number 2. And number 3 is learn to love doing it. If you can find a way to exercise that you will enjoy, you may have tried the gym, you may have tried this form of exercise, that sport or the other, and you may have found, so far you've drawn a blank, you don't enjoy any of them. Keep searching. Look around, think outside the box. Have you tried frisbee golf? I haven't. That might be your thing. Quidditch. Run around a field with a broom between your legs. That's going to expend a lot of energy. Whatever it takes, keep searching. Find a way of doing it that you love. Those are the 3 do-its. That's all I've got on exercise. I've thought a lot more about weight loss and about how to restrict your calories in a way that is psychologically doable, it's psychologically easy. As for exercise, that's the best advice I can give you to get over that psychological resistance. But I'd love to know your ideas. If you've got some other ideas, or you can expand on my ideas when it comes to exercise, comment below. We'll all be interested to hear what you've got to say. Check out this video. As I mentioned earlier, this is the first in the first 3 videos on this YouTube channel. They're the main 3 videos on this channel. They will give you the easy way to lose weight and stay thin. It's probably the best advice I can give you. And until next time, thanks for watching and take care.